I'll show you where the active weather will be in the coming days and what's piquing my interest tropically in our area for next week. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We are your home for Caribbean weather. Hey, it's nice to see you for this latest video. Hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, our tropical wave continues to progress off into the Western Caribbean. We'll highlight the active weather it's bringing. Additional disturbances will be moving through the area in the coming days. Your island by island rainfall forecast and a reminder that it is still at hurricane season. As always, Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida. They're your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. You get wind, hail, hurricane damage, even flooding. They'll walk you through that insurance claim process. Check them out. leanomelaw.com for more information. As always, love to hear from you guys. You can let me know in the comment section below what's been happening in your area. You have a question about the forecast, always love for you guys just to say hi as well. Now, this time of the year, we do get fronts that are able to work their way close to the Caribbean, especially through the Gulf and into the Western Atlantic Basin. And that's what we've seen out of the last front that worked past the Southeast United States, beginning to stall out. But along this boundary, we're getting some heavier rain. It's also tapping into the tropical wave and a lot of lift in the atmosphere in the Western Caribbean and our monsoon trough. That's just brought a lot of active weather to the Western Caribbean, the Central American area, and portions of Quintana Roo for this Tuesday. We also have a disturbance. It's a broad trough in the Lesser Antilles, moving into the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. That's going to bring up a couple of showers and more disturbances that'll be moving through the Atlantic Basin as well. So what do you say we start off in the Windward Islands with our friends in TNT? And again, some of this moisture just beginning to get into the area. We've had a little bit of cloud coverage across the area for today. From time to time, a couple of isolated showers and storms, trying to get a little bit of thunderstorm activity near the Grenada area at the hour. Now, this, at least at this point in time, is still mainly just cloud coverage more than anything else, but there have been enough lift in the atmosphere, enough juice, if you will, to fire off a couple of isolated showers and storms. But this is a pretty isolated area that this is going to happen. You get into the Grenadines and Barbados, and yes, you could get some cloud coverage. Yes, you could get a rogue shower or an isolated storm, but overall, many dry hours and locations north of Grenada and TNT for today. Same situation for St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominique, and Guadeloupe. As you guys know, we have the live cameras here at Meteo Mundo. One of the exclusive things you guys can see if you watch these videos, and I do appreciate that daily support from you guys. It really means a lot. Live look outside here from Corinth, St. Lucia on the western side of the island. Again, fair weather, clouds at the hour. Even a little bit farther north in the Lesser Antilles, there's been just a touch of haze, a little bit of dust, not much, but again, just a little bit of a murky sky out there at the hour for today, but a beautiful afternoon. Same situation as you move up towards the north, Guadeloupe, Montserrat, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Bart, St. Martin, and Anguilla. Got the wind gusts in miles an hour on right now. You don't even see any fresh breezes. Again, some isolated showers underneath our easterly trade winds are out there, but nothing that has been outrageous. So even this trough is not promoting a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity. This trough kind of elongated right here. And again, it's not really kicking up much at the hour. It could still spread some moisture overnight and especially into Wednesday in portions of the Virgin Islands. So expect a little bit better rain chance for Anegada and Tortola and Virgin Gorda and Jost Van Dyke, St. Croix and St. Thomas and St. John as we move into our Wednesday. Isolated to more scattered showers here across portions of Puerto Rico. And again, hasn't been a lot of wind for today as well, with a couple of showers trying to develop at the hour in the southern side of the island. It's been very nice to see things quiet down in Hispaniola. Obviously, we've talked a lot about what Melissa has left behind, especially in Haiti and even southern sides of the Dominican Republic. Now, look, it's not a completely dry forecast, but all of the flood warnings that were in effect for more than a week through a lot of the Dominican Republic, especially the southwest side of the DR, have been allowed to expire, at least as of now. Again, we're going to get a few isolated thunderstorms coming up over the higher terrain and then back down to the western side of the island into Haiti, but they're few and far between relative to what we've been seeing. We're also seeing a relatively dry forecast at the hour across Jamaica. Of course, that's good news. Now, a couple of showers are trying to develop in the far eastern parishes, but that's okay. And of course, that's the part of the island that was the least affected by Hurricane Melissa. The interesting thing is I could see a few showers and thunderstorms developing overnight in northern parishes, and there could be some rain around to kick off Wednesday morning in portions of Jamaica, and we'll look at that coming up as well. Just to the west of the Cayman Islands is where we have the most active weather. Now, earlier yesterday is when this axis of tropical moisture moved through the Cayman Islands, and that's when we really had the showers and storms, but a little bit drier air has snuck in behind it. The red that you guys see on the water vapor imagery is that drier air. So again, overall in the central Caribbean right now, things are a little bit drier. We follow our area of disturbance, but more than anything, just kind of an elongated trough up into the Bahamas. You can see that highlighted by the orange area here. I'm going to bring back on the infrared satellite imagery. And again, we've had some fresh breezes over portions of the northwest Bahamas for today. A little bit of cloud coverage outside. Let's see if we've had any rain lately as well. Going to bring on the live radar data here. Most of the shower activity has been confined to the Florida Keys and portions of South Florida towards the Miami area and Homestead and Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to switch over here real quick. Again, an isolated light shower, Bimini and Andros, maybe as far east as New Providence for today, but generally speaking, this disturbance is a little bit more active south and west, back down towards Cuba. Live look outside to central Eleuthera. This is Governor's Harbor. It's another glorious shot. Again, mainly fair weather clouds. Notice not a lot of vertical development here. Even though this trough is situated over the area, there's not a lot of lift. Bit of a breeze, but overall, not a bad Tuesday overall in this area. Just real quickly here, Bermuda has seen some pretty gusty winds for today, up to about 35 miles an hour, and some gale conditions in portions of the eastern side of Canada. All right, let's follow this disturbance back down to where things are fairly active for today, and that is going to be in our far western areas. Now, a lot of this activity is holding just offshore, so that means places like the Bay Islands have had the best chance today for a few showers and storms. This is the visible satellite imagery. Along this disturbance, there are going to be areas of mid-level rotation. Now, look, this is not going to be like a disturbance in the way of a tropical depression or storm forming, but there's a lot of lift in the atmosphere, and we've had some of our friends here in the Bay Islands, the last couple of videos mention how we've had some heavier rain from time to time, and that could persist in Utila and Roatan and Guanaja, the northern sides of Honduras, and even moving into the coastal sides of Guatemala, Belize, and southern sides of Quintana Roo as we go over the next couple of days. This disturbance will move inland. We'll get a little bit better rain chance in interior sections of northern sides of Central America and the Yucatan before things begin to fade away. But just a relatively active forecast. Then you go south of there and the monsoon trough continues the flooding potential for portions of Panama and Costa Rica. Look, relatively speaking, it's been a very active forecast for the western third of the Caribbean today, with very slow moving heavy showers and thunderstorms from time to time. Back over to the ABC Islands. It's picture perfect out there, guys. Not a lot of rain, a little bit better chance coming there. And we got a little bit of a breeze. Nothing outrageous here from the Eagle Beach area near Oranjestad, Aruba. That's the live look outside late on this Tuesday as we pan the camera, easy for me to say, back to the north here just a little bit. But again, beautiful shot there from that area. Folks in the water, enjoying what's a very nice late afternoon. As we get into your island by island forecast and a look at the tropics, remind you guys, if you wouldn't mind taking a quick second, hit that like button for me. I appreciate all of the support. Liking and subscribing helps the channel out more than you guys think. It gets more people to have eyes on the channel. YouTube recommends this channel more to people who don't even know we exist. So I appreciate you guys doing those two things. Thank you for sharing this channel with your family and friends. Welcome all of our new members to the channel, old and new. Thank you for being members of the channel. Super thanks as well are open if you'd like to help the channel in that way as we move forward. All right, so let's get into the overall forecast here. Back out to the broad perspective. Again, this time of the year, we're a little bit too deep into the season to really see the waves coming off the West African coast really have a lot of development. Now, there could still be very broad areas near what we call the intertropical convergence zone to produce widespread showers and storms, and that elongated area is likely to reach the Lesser Antilles over the next couple of days. Ahead of it, there's going to be some moisture to come back into play as well. And unfortunately, some of the areas that have been impacted by Melissa are likely to see the trough, which, although it's not doing much right now in the Leeward Islands, swing its way off towards the west and provide some better shower and storm chances there. So the first thing I want to do is we're just going to look at the short-term forecast here, and then we're going to deep dive into an area area that I'm going to be taking and playing a very particular close interest in next week, because it's still November and it's still hurricane season, and I'll show you why coming up. So let's get started with, again, the short-term forecast. We'll begin in the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola areas west. Again, as this disturbance moves off towards the west, this trough, it's going to elevate the rain chance some. Now, it's not going to be outrageously high, but it should spread more moisture back into some areas. So I've got improving rain chances in the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, and unfortunately the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Jamaica. Over the next day or two, it is island dependent. As I mentioned just a little bit ago, I could even see a little bit of shower activity when we restart this loop developing overnight, with a few showers and storms being on Jamaica tomorrow morning, and then a few more thunderstorms redeveloping in the afternoon. Now, hopefully that doesn't hit the areas that have been hardest hit by Melissa, where all the recovery efforts continue, but it's not a completely dry forecast. We're going to have about a 30 to a 40% chance for, again, a few morning showers and storms, and a redevelopment of some showers and storms in the afternoon hours as well. Now, closer to our trough and then the tropical wave, rain chances should stay on the decent side. This trough is going to fade away, but there will be some scattered showers and a few rumbles of thunder across the Bahamas the next couple of days. Now, overall, so many dry hours and locations, not a lot in the way of heavier downpours here, but from Walker's Key and Grand Bahama, all the way back down towards Exuma and Cat Island, even in the southeast Bahamas, the Acklins, into Turks and Caicos, I can't rule out a couple of spotty showers here during the midweek time frame. The heaviest moisture should move off towards the west. The interesting thing is that this tropical wave is fighting some drier air to the north, and the battleground is really going to be on the eastern sides of Quintana Roo, Cancun, Cozumel, Tulum areas, where some of the showers and storms could get hung up. So we could actually see some heavier rain on our Wednesday in these areas, though overall the rain chance isn't crazy significant and should begin to fade away again starting on Thursday. Farther south that you go, the rain should be more scattered in nature for the Chetumal area, San Pedro, Belize City, San Ignacio, again, Roatan, Utila, Guanaja, San Pedro Sula, La Ceiba, scattered showers, better chance next day, day and a half, and then drying out after that. Near the monsoon trough, showers and storms will continue here, some locally heavy downpours. Again, this is an area that could get very interesting here in the time to come. ABC Islands, I'm expecting you guys to see a little bit better rain chance as well. May not happen for Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday, we're going to elevate the rain chance in some areas. Again, some of this activity could be during the evening and the overnight hours as well. So the rain chance in the Lesser Antilles in general, to begin the period, will be highest the farther north that you live. But down the road, here comes that next broad area, that next disturbance that'll be working its way into the Windward Islands to elevate the rain chances there. In the short term, Barbados, St. Lucia, SVG, Grenada will dry out over the next few days. Slightly better rain chance in TNT, just a little bit closer, a little bit farther south in latitude to pick up an additional slight bump in the rain chance there. Nueva Esparta, same situation. Some of the better rain chances overall in the next 3 days will be places like Martinique and Dominica and Guadeloupe, whereas the rain chance will be a little bit higher to start the forecast from Anguilla to Antigua and Barbuda and Montserrat and St. Kitts and Nevis. But the rain chance should fade a little bit quicker in these areas as that trough works its way off towards the west. And again, the rain chance is picking up in the areas that I've already mentioned. So this is what it looks like island by island for you guys. 30% chance the next couple days in the northwest Bahamas, just a 20 on Friday. Again, not as much in the central and southeast Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, but it's not a completely dry forecast either. Cuba's rain chances will be moderate. Best chance will be on the western side of the island from Cienfuegos on over towards Havana and west. The Cayman Islands rain chances, which again were really high the last day or two, will continue to fade away to a mainly dry forecast by Friday. And that's the same situation as that tropical wave moves west. Belize City and Cancun and Cozumel rain chances are highest tomorrow and then fade as we head towards the weekend. Again, Jamaica's rain chances aren't exceptionally high, but I had to bump it up a little bit because that trough looks to have a more direct impact as it comes through. Again, that's just a broad area of lift, just taking the moisture that's overhead and producing a little bit better chance for some scattered showers and storms. The Dominican Republic's rain chances are 50 tomorrow, 40 on Thursday, Friday. After an elevated rain chance in Puerto Rico, they come down a little bit overall Thursday, Friday. We'll stay with a moderate rain chance in the Virgin Islands the next couple of days. Bermuda's rain chance, despite the breeze, is only isolated over Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Anguilla's rain chance is highest on Thursday, St. Kitts and Nevis 40. And again, it's not crazy high. We're already on the back end of that trough and should begin to fade in most areas Wednesday, Thursday. A couple of spots will elevate again slightly on Friday. But generally speaking, again, your best chance for Montserrat, Guadalupe, places like that is tomorrow, then more isolated Thursday, Friday. Whereas you get farther south and your lower rain chances are tomorrow and Thursday, and then elevated rain chances back up. So improving rain chances Friday, Guadalupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, SVG. Barbados, still pretty dry. Don't have a lot of rain there until the weekend, and we'll talk more about that coming up in subsequent videos. Grenada, TNT's rain chances again slightly improve. Suriname, Guyana, isolated scattered showers and a few rumbles of thunder the next couple of days. Nueva Esparta, very isolated rain chances. Best chance for rain for the ABC Islands looks to be on Thursday, with there's still a few more in the forecast on Friday as well. Atlantic Basin is still churned up. We've got the cold fronts coming off the United States East Coast to bring you the north winds there. Here comes that next disturbance over the weekend into the Eastern Caribbean. That could push quickly in, and then down the road, you're going to see another front coming into the Gulf, and then you're going to see an area we're going to get into right now that could start to churn up some of the waters here in the western side of the Caribbean just after this weekend into early and mid next week. Now, rainfall totals are going to vary significantly across their area. In general, the farther north that you go, because we're getting some drier air moving in, especially towards the Bahamas, should be drier over the next 5 to 7 days. Whereas the tropical waves and just the overall moisture content in the Caribbean is higher this time of the year. So you really start to get some impacts. Look, it's not going to be in the next couple days, but down the road, we could, based on the European model, get some significant rain for the Bay Islands, portions of Belize and Guatemala and northern Honduras. I'll be monitoring that, but that is, 8-10 inches of rain, 250 millimeters in some areas. We'll see if the model holds on to that solution through early next week. I'll continue to monitor the situation. Unfortunately, some additional heavier rain is possible even as far north and east as Jamaica, still more concentrated farther south and west. And if you look on the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see again some higher rain totals coming back into the eastern side of the Caribbean as well. Okay. Friends, I do remind you that it is November and it is still hurricane season. Let's talk about what the models are showing. Now, again, there is generally, on average, a quick fall off in the potential for tropical development from the 1st to the 10th of November, maybe the 14th, maybe 2 full weeks, and then the latter half of November. Things really begin to shut down there. But I showed you in yesterday's video that the sea surface temperatures in the Western Caribbean are still exceptionally warm, from 29 to 31 degrees Celsius. We also have our monsoon trough. That is an inherent spin in the atmosphere over the southern sides of Central America, which also tries to meander north this time of the year. Well, the models for now 5 days in a row, both the GFS and the European models, have hinted at the potential for some tropical development in the Western Caribbean. You are looking at the deterministic model of the GFS. First of all, again, nothing is going to happen through the end of this week. The start of this, if it were to occur, and there's still a big if, is going to be over the weekend and early next week. We start to see this spin beginning to gather up. Now, again, this isn't down the road in an exceptional way. This is just 7, 8, 9, 10 days away. This is not 14 days away, 3 weeks away, anything like that. I never like to go too far out with these models. You guys know that, and I like to look for consistency with these models before we even discuss things. Well, we have some of that. Again, it is the borderline time of the year. So this is simply, we're going to watch and see what might be happening in this area. I think regardless, and you saw what the European model showed, we could start to get some high rainfall totals developing under what could be a broad disturbance, even if it doesn't have a true low-level center. This could be a lot more rain for the Western Caribbean beginning over the weekend and spreading into early and mid next week. And some of that could even get to the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. And again, back to areas that don't need to see a lot of rain sitting over their head for a long length of time, like Southeast Cuba, Jamaica, maybe even portions of Hispaniola, but a little bit higher chance areas off towards the west. That's what it looks like on the reflectivity. This is the winds, the surface-based winds from the GFS model. And again, just going out 4 days, or excuse me, 10 days. So you're going to see over the next 4 days that not much is happening here. We do get some fresher winds beginning to pull back in. Those trade winds pull a little bit farther off towards the west. You get the next front coming into the southern Gulf, and then you see this spin up beginning to develop. And I got to tell you something, the GFS has kicked it up a notch today, right? This is a tight area of closed circulation. If we take a look at the winds associated with this, these are sustained winds. You are going to have tropical storm force winds on all 4 quadrants. So this is a tropical system in the Caribbean in about 8, 9 to 10 days. Now, again, nothing is out there as of yet, at least as of the recording of this video. The Hurricane Center isn't even discussing anything. Just to show you guys, for informational purposes, what I've been looking at behind the scenes the last several days. This is the ensemble of the GFS model. So we were looking at the main deterministic run. Here's all the different ensemble members. Again, over the weekend, very little development, but early to mid next week, we get a couple of areas. The interesting thing is there's even one east of the Turks and Caicos, but you start to see the development here on the GFS model by, the 8 to 9 day time frame, especially, late Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. Not all the ensemble members for sure, but there are some that are showing that solution. The European model, which was off of this yesterday, is on it a little bit more today. Remember, the European model was even first to catch this potential development about 5 days ago. It came off of that solution. And by the way, again, something in the Western Atlantic, it's slightly possible. But the interesting thing about the European model is I've paused this a lot earlier. This is early this weekend. This is like early Sunday morning, and you have some development near Nicaragua and Honduras, but this also pushes back inland relatively quickly. And it's somewhat unclear if the European model wants to try and redevelop it and push it back off towards the east. But even the GFS was obviously hugging the coastline of Central America. But that's the situation. There's plenty of time to monitor it. Again, listen to the tone of my voice. I have no concerns as of right now. I think, though, if nothing else, we could get a broad area of a lot of rain and wind developing in the Western Caribbean, and it is not too late in the season to see something try and develop tropically. I'm keeping an eye on it for you guys. You can follow us across all of our social media platforms. We are indeed on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. As always, you want to send me a picture or video to help tell the weather story in your area. Easiest way to do that, myMediaMundo@gmail.com. You have a question about the forecast, drop it in the comment section below. Please remember that Media Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys, offering free consultation and policy reviews. They'll walk you through the insurance claim process. Therefore, you got nothing to lose. Check them out, leanombilaw.com, for more information. Friends, have a great rest of your day. I'm keeping a close eye on things. I'm back with the latest for you tomorrow, right here at Media Mundo.